Hey everyone, welcome to Encore, and today we're going to talk about contracts. Okay, another important clause that you need to add is the authorization release. Now this is going to pretty much kind of cover you as far as the pictures that you're going to take, and sometimes it's really good to take pictures of your work, especially if it's going to contribute to your portfolio. And having a good portfolio definitely is key, especially if you are, if you're a makeup artist, a professional makeup artist. So if you think that this is something that's definitely going to contribute to that, then definitely add this clause, so that way the client knows that that you're going to take some pictures and that you're going to be using it for your portfolio and whatnot, and just kind of promise them that it's going to be used in good faith and that you're not going to make money by selling those prints or anything like that. That's only going to be used for your for your personal materials and for archival purposes. Now also bilaterally, the client is definitely going to have photographers and videographers in the event, usually, especially if it's a wedding, and therefore, it's kind of like courteous to also put in there that you agree to be photographed and videotaped, by the client's camera crew. So that way, it just kind of evens out, and clients do appreciate that sometimes. Okay, next, another very important clause, the allergies clause. Very, very important, especially if you're a makeup artist. Your client is going to be prone to so many reactions, whether it's allergic reactions or product contamination and things like that. So make sure to add the allergies clause, that the client is responsible for informing you of any allergic reactions to any cosmetic products or any of the cosmetics ingredients. There are a lot of people that are allergic to walnut oil or any kind of oils, perhaps maybe metals. A lot of most of the ingredients that you find in cosmetics are metal based. Some of the micas, silicas, iron oxides, things like that are metal based, and they might be allergic to it, and therefore if they're not aware of it and you don't put it in paper and in writing, you can be held responsible for any of those allergic reactions. So therefore it's very important that you put an allergies clause in your contract. Okay, next are just minor clauses that you can add that are very, very important. Now I'm just sharing this with you because it's something that I have in my contract and it helps me a lot. I have a travel clause, or a travel fee clause, in my contract because I get hired pretty much all over the country and sometimes internationally, and therefore I pretty much kind of put my own terms as to what they need to provide travel wise. If I'm going to need airfare, if I'm going to need train tickets, pretty much anything that's going to involve traveling and transportation, then I have a clause that would cover that. And you can also add a transportation and accommodation clause in your contract, especially for those of you guys who's going to be doing gigs that's going to be like, let's say 2 hours away and maybe 4 hours away, and you prefer to be flown in, if not train or other means of transportation, but at the same time you're also going to need accommodations wherein you're going to need a night's stay at a hotel. So make sure that all that is basically written down in your contract, because it's very important. Now in my clause I also included that if it's outside my county, that I charge a certain fee. Okay, if I have to travel over 15 miles, I have certain fees that I add, things like that. So just to give you guys an idea of what to put in there, but make sure it's definitely your terms, and and make sure it's not going to dent into your personal pockets, right? Okay, other expenses that you can incur that you can definitely add into your contract if you want to be reimbursed or paid for, in these expenses are, say, parking or tolls. Usually if you need to travel, to your destination, it's going to require you to pay tolls. Maybe you need to take bridges or highways that have tolls, things like that. And if it's going to cost you like $35 to park at the structure, by the event, of course you want to get paid for those, and it's going to be extra because you don't want to charge, you don't want to pay that out of your pocket, and therefore, the gig is really not going to be that beneficial to you financially. So just kind of like calculate whatever it's going to cost you to get to the destination, what kind of expenses, travel expenses that you're going to incur. So make sure that all that is included in the contract. Okay, and then you can add your riders, and riders pretty much include whatever you want to expect in the place, alright, in the whether it's a workspace issue, what kind of space do you need? Do you need a table? Do you need a high chair? Do you need power strips? Very important, things like that. And so basically kind of like the workspace requirements that you kind of that you wanted to set, you want to put the terms in the contract. Now also include in there power outages, very, very important. If there's no light, you can't see what you're doing, you can't do a proper job. Even if you have candles lit or anything like that, it's not going to be able, it's going to be difficult, basically, is where it comes down to. Now, I also add the power outage clause because most of the jobs that I do, especially in weddings, includes airbrush makeup, and that requires power. The air compressor requires power and things like that, and if there's no power available, if there's a power outage, then I cannot perform that service, and therefore that's going to be their liability, and if they sign a contract, they have that clause, then they're responsible for that, and if that doesn't happen, then therefore you get paid, basically, even if you don't do the service. They're going to be responsible because they cannot provide you with the power that you required in your contract. Okay, and finally, the payment clause. Okay, and this is where you put how you want to get paid, when you want to get paid, and you can also split the payment. If you require a deposit, you can set that in this term. Whether it's 30% now or 50% now, and then the rest the day of. This is where you definitely want to put it. And also, it's ideal, to kind of like add certain things, like if they're paying checks, and make sure it's written to your name or to your business name, or whatever your account's under as far as your banking is concerned. So that way, they would know when to pay you, how to pay you, and all that. Okay? And then finally, at the very, very bottom of each contract are the signature lines. So it should contain your signature and then of course your client's signature. And once both signature appears on the contract, then whatever is written in that contract basically binds you and your client to the terms. Okay, so hopefully that helps you guys out, and thanks for joining me, and until next time, I'll see you guys soon. Bye!